If you're watching this video, that means that something I have to say here resonates with you. And here's the thing. As you know, this channel has been a conglomeration of my life, both of spiritual and very grounded in physical things. And throughout this journey, I have come to a point where there is nothing more for me to explain to you in a spiritual matter. That is to say, at a certain point, the ultimate truth I can really only talk around. Do you understand? I can really only talk around this ultimate truth. And at the end of the day, I can only do so much here on a recording as far as spirituality goes. You know, because at the end of the day, you putting in your spiritual practice, you putting in the time for yourself and connecting to yourself and doing that meditation and that work is ultimately an individual process. That is not something I have any control over. But what I do realize is that one thing that some people kind of get stuck in is that once they get attached to the spiritual identity or ego, they believe they have to act a certain way. They believe that they have to be like this or that. And I think you can see the dissolving of that belief in this channel as it's progressed. As I've started doing things that are less necessarily in the lens of focusing or trying to be a spiritual individual or spiritual person, teacher, like assigning myself a role, but rather just being me, being the authentic expression of myself and letting that flow and letting that be whatever it wants to be and accepting that. And I think that is a very, very important thing that we must all accept within ourselves, is our true and authentic expression without the need or want to try to control or really just adjust who we are and how we express ourselves in regards to external influences. Not letting any external influences control or behave our behaviors or how we behave. You see, because who I am is who I am. And whatever anyone else can do or say will not change that. You understand? There is nothing that anyone else can do to change what I am. And so this channel has almost become sort of a recording of life. Rather, it is life itself being expressed. And going forward, that doesn't mean that I'm going to not talk on these things. Of course, you know, I feel very grateful for the amount of the level of consciousness I am at and the perspective and understanding that has been granted towards me. But likewise, I also understand that there are many things that I will do in this life and want to do in this life that I would like to as well share with you, because I think it is of benefit. As you know, I've told the personal story of myself here, and I believe it's a very, very powerful and empowering story of how you can let go and trust, and things will work out better than you could imagine. You know, I'm living in a foreign country, something I've always wanted to do, and I didn't even know how it was gonna happen, but I trusted, I believed, and it happened, you know. And so there are many other things that are going to be happening in my life that I do want to share with y'all. And it's not from a sense of trying to be egoic or brag, but rather to prove to people that, like, wow, this is really possible. Like, when you tap into that source, that light within, so to speak, everything flows as it should. And when we do that, we get out of the way of life, in the sense that we no longer are an obstacle to life, but we are in the flow of it, you know? We're no longer a dam trying to control the water, the flow of life. We are merely a part of it. You see, it's strange to me that people, or there's this common belief that mankind is somehow separate from nature. If you look at nature, animals, birds, mushrooms, plants, trees, water, it all has a process, a cycle, a natural flow. And how are we any different from that? How is a human organism any different than that? And I'll take it a step further. How is the nature of life, the process of this universe, any different than that? And how could we ever be separate to that? How could we ever be separate to the nature of reality? The truth is, you cannot. So, ultimately, what I'm pointing you to here is that what you are is inherently the Tao. You are inherently that flow. But don't let yourself become a blockage of that flow. Meaning, don't get in your own way. And ultimately, don't put up walls to try to box yourself in or to make yourself something that you are not. Because you are not the walls or the boxes, the limitations that you put yourself in. You are what is inside of that. You are the space inside of that confined box. And what happens when you take away the box? The space is infinite, ever-flowing, ever-present. And as such, this is the nature of reality.